don't you get like bored? Like जब IIT तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं, IIT हो जाता है, मम्मी पापा बोलते बस ये कर ले बेटा, लाइफ सेट है, ये कर ले लाइफ सेट है, तो आप PhD भी खत्म करे, you know, felt like बस हो गया यार.
लाइफ तो कभी सेट नहीं होती. Files might be different, but the strengths are the similar. Because you, all of in IITs at least, everybody is good analytically.
Correct.
Even in master's programs, especially IIMs, one common strength is that they are good in terms of their analytical skills.
True.
And as a result, the academics out here has really strongly focused on analytics in the top institutes.
Right.
In the US, since the profiles are very, very different, there will be, like I had students who were in the Army or Navy before.
All right, hi everyone, welcome on board. बहुत सारे लोग मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि इंडिया के अंदर पढ़ाई करनी चाहिए कि मुझे बाहर जाना चाहिए. टुडे आई एम गेटिंग होल्ड ऑफ नितिन गर्ग सर, जिन्होंने IIT बॉम्बे, जो काफ़ी लोगों का ड्रीम स्कूल रह चुका है, जेई की तैयारी कर चुके हैं, कुड नॉट रीच इट, उनमें से मैं भी एक था. दिस गाय इज स्किल्ड IIT बॉम्बे, स्टडीड देयर, went for MBA to Carnegie Mellon, US, then came back to India, does BTech at IIT Bombay, and right now he's the director at ISME Bangalore. Sir, welcome on board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really humbled to have you on board. First of all, how had been the journey, sir? IIT, IIM, Carnegie Mellon, best of the best schools in life.
Yeah, it's great. It's one step at a time. I did not really think about it. Got through JEE, went to IIT. Then got through a company known as Deloitte Consulting, which took me to the US. They had taken me for the US operations.
Okay.
Then after a few years, because in the US it's mandatory to have a job experience before you can do your MBA, went to Carnegie Mellon University.
Wow.
And came back after a few more years of working. And then started the B school. That's another story on its own.
Yeah.
And recently did my PhD from IIM Lucknow.
Wow.
So each has its own experience and an own journey, and each was at a different phase of my life. One was where I was a single. Second was where I was married.
Wow.
And the third recently where I'm much older with kids and other things. So each had a different phase and a different experience.
क्या बात है सर, क्या बात. Let's compare. I think I've met so many great people who have done good in life. Ashneer, Grover, Mamad, CEO Ghazal Alag. Recently I met Anupam Mittal from the Shark Tank as well. And I've seen this. These guys have got penchant for learning throughout life.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you get like bored? Like जब IIT तैयारी कर रहे होते हैं, IIT हो जाता है, मम्मी पापा बोलते बस ये कर ले बेटा, लाइफ सेट है, ये कर ले लाइफ सेट है, तो आप PhD भी खत्म करे, you know, felt like बस हो गया यार.
लाइफ तो कभी सेट नहीं होती. That's a reality. लाइफ कभी नहीं सेट होती.
IIT बॉम्बे 20 साल के बाद.
And in fact, absolutely, even now with 3-4 companies with me and all those things, life is never set because you just want to reach to the next level of your personal growth, and many times beyond your personal growth for all the companies that you are working for or you are representing or you have taken to a certain level. So, and unless you don't have that process, you will stagnate.
Wow.
So, what I say is, whether it is for yourself or for a company, either you grow or you die. There's nothing like being
stable.
Yeah. So it is never a thing. So beyond a point, the struggle changes. It's just that the definition of that struggle might be different.
Super.
Initially, your struggle might be कि मेरे को अच्छा job चाहिए. After that, the struggle can be कि I want to start a company on my own. Third struggle can be I want to grow that company. Fourth struggle can be कि I want to do something where I may want to become number one or the best within India or whatever. So each one it's a struggle.
चलता ही जाएगा.
Yeah, but it is always a struggle eventually if you look at it. You have to just enjoy that struggle.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Nothing's going to be easy, na, sir, life mein?
Nothing is easy. If it is always something which is better than what you have done in the past, it is never easy. If you have to just repeat what you have done in the past, then maybe it is easy.
True.
But then a lot of other people will catch up with you.
Superb, sir. Superb. Great, sir. पढ़ाई की बात करते हैं. Sir, IIT Bombay engineering 4 years? Yeah.
4 years, but I had a dual degree.
Okay.
So I actually did both BTech and MTech.
I know. Which department was that?
In mechanical.
Mech, great, sir, great. So how do you compare in Indian education system? Now that you run an institution ISME as well, यहाँ पे खुद का, and with all the lineage what you've done, let's compare Carnegie Mellon versus IIT Bombay. I know it was a different level altogether. It was BTech, it was masters, but still, sir, कुछ फर्क है दोनों में और इनको choose कैसे करना चाहिए? इंडिया में रहे बाहर रहे?
फर्क इस तरह से है कि ना सी in terms of now I'll divide it into two parts. One is I think on this question I'll focus on the academic side of differences. In academics, it's like this, that the profile of candidates, especially in IITs, is pretty much the same because they go through the same exam.
Yeah.
So the profile is pretty
Same
much
books as well.
yeah, same book, same exam, same type of a thing. So they generally have the same strengths, right? Profiles might be different, but the strengths are the similar because you all of in IITs at least everybody is good analytically.
Correct.
Even in master's programs, especially IIMs, one common strength is that they are good in terms of their analytical skills.
True.
And as a result, the academics out here has really strongly focused on analytics in the top institutes.
Right.
In the US, since the profiles are very, very different, there'll be, like I had students who were in the Army or Navy before, right? I had people who were probably only into sports. So not necessarily they might be great in analytics. But then because the profile is different, the kind of studies is far more not only on, cracking analytics, but lot of other variety of critical thinking and so those things become more important. So that's I think one big difference. The second big difference is that there a lot of project-based learning is there. Now in India, why it is not there? It's not that the faculty do not want. We are used to copying. Okay, right? जब copy करोगे तो क्या मिलेगा? So then the faculty says कि ना if you give projects and people are just copying, there's no point. But there people are very ethical about doing those projects, doing it on their own, and obviously then there is learning when you are doing it on your own. Here एक से दूसरे को चेपा and you just give it.
Sheet बनाते थे वो नीचे बाल्टी लगा के.
Right, whatever it is, right? Those were the old ways of doing it, right? The light and the balti, right? So those were the old days, probably our time. I think techniques have evolved,
changed,
right? But that's the thing, right? So today, I wish Indian education students knew that there is this shortcut to just copying an assignment and getting it done is not right. So that is another big difference in the academic side. Is that there are more assignments, more project-based learning. Not that faculty cannot give it here, but here they know the assessment gets compromised.
True.
Whereas there it does not.
True.
So as a result, there is a lot more. And of course, that the last thing which was a big difference was that there is a huge case study based level of teaching.
True.
Which I should not compare because this was engineering and that was management, right? But if I see in most colleges, management colleges of India also, good management, the case study based teaching is a lot lesser. So these are some of the things. Probably एक और चीज आ रही है मेरे दिमाग में कि the faculty is extremely well prepared there. In fact, they'll give you the full course with their coursework, assignments, everything at the beginning of the course.
True.
Here it is not like that. It will keep going on and faculty will suddenly make a change, suddenly do certain things. There they are really well prepared before they enter the class. In fact, before they enter the class, before they start the class.
Yeah. We know like this is तारीख को ये होने वाला, इस तारीख को ये test होगा.
Absolutely. So they completely they have mapped it out. They know exactly what is going to be taught. You know exactly as a student what is going to be taught.
And now with this Moodle these days, it's a lot more easier for faculties to arrange your day 1 पे ये मिलेगा, day 2 पे ये मिलेगा.
Absolutely. So the difference is there they will upload everything on the first day.
Right.
Okay. So you have the whole thing mapped out. And one other difference, they don't take attendance there.
Yeah,
they don't take attendance there because the students are paying ton of money. Right, and students themselves attend. And here India, if you don't take attendance in most places, right, the class will be like 40% full. Even if they know it is very good, and even if the faculty is very good, right, irrespective of the things, their attendance is not taken and still the classes are full.
Wow.
So these are a lot of small differences in the way the assignments are done, in the May, the class planning is done in terms of the fact that our attendance is not taken still.
You have to choose back and do it again. Like, कहाँ जाओगे? IIT Bombay करने जाओगे?
Each I will go to both places, right? Each place has its own value, and that is what I would recommend people. There is a certain value of having a experience within India, and there's a certain value of having experience outside India.
True.
So one has to experience both, because both academically there is a certain value of being in intensely competitive environments, being very analytical as far as the thing, and then there is a certain value of having a lot of assignments and lot of project works and those kinds of things which are abroad. Similarly, there is a certain value of kind of just being in your chaddi and still enjoying. And then there is a certain value of being in your dancing clothes and just going out, having drinks. And another thing in universities abroad is that here your friends are Indians. They are from across the country. Most of the good places now have students from across the country. There, it is from across the world, especially in the US. So students are there. So you'll have friends from Japan, from China, from UK, from all across. In fact, from places which you would probably not think you will meet people from Egypt and from Morocco and from South Africa and from Greece. So it could be from anywhere. So these is a very different kind of experience because you're meeting people from across the world.
True that. India में जैसे we got Gujarati, Marwadi, Punjabi. There you like a Mexican, Spanish.
Exactly. So you have people from different places, and just like in India, they tend to you will have these social groups where you might have a group where there are people from all across, but then they will you will also interact. Indians will interact with Indians, Mexicans with Mexicans. So that will also happen.
Of course.
So it is very similar that way, except that the platform becomes global than becoming national. So, but as Indians, we are used to that fact because India is itself so diverse. People are quite different and still they are together. So it's a very similar environment, except it is global.
Perfect. It's a tough question, the last one for the day. I'm really enjoying this. I can keep on going for hours, but tough question. One thing you could have done better at IIT, which you look back, यार ये और अच्छा करना चाहिए था यार, ये कम किया मैंने, या ये ज़्यादा कर लिया, इसको कम करना चाहिए था. ऐसा कोई चीज़ in IIT Bombay days. I should have done this more or less, whatever.
No, I think one advantage I had was actually I initially felt I had not taken up too many leadership positions. I was doing certain things.
Yeah.
But I had one big advantage. I had a 5-year program, unlike many of my batchmates which had a 4-year program. So because of which I was by 4th year chavakta hai ki I should have done this. And then, but for me, I had that one extra year.
Yeah.
So I and that is what I recommend people is that you have to balance academics with all the other activities. So in the 4th year, I won the elections. I was the department general secretary for the mechanical engineering department.
Wow.
That was my biggest position. I had done various other smaller roles in my hostel and all those things. But being a GSEC is kind of a big thing in the IIT world. Though being a GSEC of a hostel is even bigger, right? But GSEC of a department also, I think there was a representation. You represent about 600 students, and it's an elected post. So those are things which probably if I had a 4-year program, I would have missed.
Yeah,
so
I did all that. Yeah.
Yes. So being in a top-end leadership position helps.
Yeah.
Right. So that was the thing. Basti to khub ki thi, 4 saal. So it was not really something which I could have said I could have done more.
True.
Okay. And पढ़ाई भी इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं की थी I can say I should have I should have done this much because grades are at the end of the day to some extent important. It was just taking on senior. Fortunately, by the end of it, I did that also.
Super. Yeah. That's so amazing. तो तुम्हें decide करना है कि तुम्हें in your chaddi you want to sit on the IIT Bombay table or maybe an MBA or an undergraduate, or you want to go abroad and go for the beer crawl thing. I mean, jokes apart for sure. But sir, I think अपना decision इन्हें खुद लेना चाहिए, right?
Yes, I think the decision between studying in India versus abroad first depends on and your affordability, right? Frankly, affordability does matter.
True.
Right? And these days, it's not like you're getting big scholarships and things like that. So money is a big factor.
And job market भी tough है, ऐसा नहीं है.
Yes. So now, unlike in the past, where you could still feel कि हाँ job तो मिल जाएगा, right? You should be able to have that backup कि even if I don't get a job and I have to come back to India, you should be able to not go under. Okay, so affordability is definitely one big deal, which is there. What I say, people who have who are tight on affordability is that do your undergrad here and you can go for postgrad abroad instead of undergrad also.
Oh yeah, you think
right.
so?
Yes. Because undergrad, though my children have gone, but now they are.
I cannot answer. Your children have gone.
Yes, but that is because if you are, what I'm saying is that if you can afford, then you can afford, right? Okay, but the fact is that you have to reach to a point that you should be able to not only afford, you should be able to say, tomorrow they spend for 4 years, right? And then they don't get a job there, they can come back, right? You have to reach to that level of affordability. If you cannot reach to that level, one way is that getting in non-MBA and science master's programs, getting a scholarship is still possible.
Achha.
But once again, MBA it's not. Right? So MBA mein to in any case you will need work experience also. Right. First of all, I must say that somewhere down in your career, one should spend at least try to see if either through a job or through some or the other opportunity, go abroad. Yeah. It opens your mind in a very big way, right? Where if you do not go abroad, that really does not. Now, but not necessarily, it is something where one has to see in life there are different things. At one point of time, when I was growing up, we could not afford, or my father could not afford. But fortunately, I got through IIT. It was not tomorrow. Even if I had not got through IIT, I would have studied in India only.
True.
But in the long run, I was sure that I'll go abroad one way or the other. So spend a few years there. Now, not necessarily, by the way, US is the place to go abroad.
Yeah.
So the other thing which we also tell our students here is in the 70s and 80s, it was US and UK.
Correct.
In 90s, Australia and Singapore got added. Yeah. After 2000, Middle East got added. Right?
Dubai.
And Dubai and all those things. Then in recent past, there are people are migrating to a few other countries in Europe, especially Germany. And in the long run, I'm talking about the next 20 years, right? For the young guys who are your audience, these are not the countries. These countries are saturating. Okay, by the way, Canada was also there in this list.
Yeah.
But these countries are saturating. The next set of countries are going to be completely different. There are going to be countries in Southeast Asia. There are going to be certain countries in Africa. Which will have a lot of growth and they will need people. There are going to be certain other upcoming countries in Europe. So they will be all across. South America, there will be countries, right? So these countries are going to be very, very different from the opportunities. So as long as you keep your mind open, right? Not necessarily you have to do your education only in a US or a UK based college. You can do your education in other countries also. Of course, there is no clear-cut winner here. You go there, otherwise it would be known. But keep your eyes open on either education or jobs. And there will be opportunities in all these places. So exciting times, but the world is changing. The geopolitics is changing. So it is no longer ki US education versus Indian education. It is about education abroad. And there could be a list of 10-15 countries versus Indian education. I would say that it is not, I would not say education per se, India se bhi education. Somewhere or the other you get an exposure. So even if you go and work, is education. Okay, education is not necessary only when you are sitting in a classroom
and paying those
and paying the big amount, right? Somehow you can crack a job by just going and then working there. That itself is hugely educating.
This is so amazing, sir. I can keep on going. Boys and girls, how do you guys like the podcast? Your dream school, IIT Bombay, if you want to go abroad, Carnegie Mellon, and again, I am Lucknow, sir, जहाँ PhD कर रहे हैं. Do it with the like button and tell me what fun thing did you pick up from the video. एक चीज जो नितिन सर की आपको बहुत पसंद आए, कमेंट करके पक्का बताइएगा, and I'll have a discussion on that as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Again for joining
Thank
me.
you.
Pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Thank you.